Hello and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a law firm with its primary office in Gainesville and also with offices in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area from Miami-Dade through Broward to Palm Beach County, and now also in our 43rd year in Marion County. Jeffrey Meldon, it's 32nd episode of our show. How about that?
Yes, I'm really excited, Chris. It's a big deal, and I think it's exciting having members of the community join us and talk about what's going on all around us. And I know today we have some great guests we're going to introduce in just a second. But we've got some exciting things coming up in the next couple of weeks, right?
We do. So I was talking about Ocala. That was my clue to, or cue to go to the fact that we've got a huge event coming up on the 16th of June, 4:30 to 7 p.m. Without any further ado, tell them about it.
Well, Wednesday, June 16th, we're having our grand opening in Ocala. The address is 1326 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, right across from the hospitals. They're called Advent Hospital right now in Ocala Regional, and it's going to be really fun. There's food, drinks, music, a big party, and we're going to have Albert and Alberta there for the kids, and Steve Spurrier there for everybody, and it's going to be a big shebang.
It's going to be a big shebang. I just had one of our doctor friends from the Ocala area this morning ask me about it. I'll give him a shout out. Our good friend Dr. Jonathan Walker from Ocala Spine and Injury. Hello, John. And we want all our friends. It's open to the public. We want, whether you've been a client in the past, whether you're a client now, or maybe you've never even heard of us, or you've thought about it, come anyway. It's free. Lots of great things going on. It's at the Meldon Law office. Like Jeffrey said, we've had an office there for 43 years, and this is brand new. You can't miss it. You won't miss the sign. I mean, that sign is quite a thing.
Well, it's, a big sign.
It's
9 feet by 14 feet, and it's digital, so we get to put fresh messages on every day. And what we're trying to do is also bring awareness to what's going on in the community in Marion County by the use of our sign. So that anybody who's in a community group, let us know. We're glad to publicize whatever event you have going on.
Couple of quick things before we get to our great guests, who, by the way, are from the Alachua County Library System. They're going to tell you all kinds of things, lots of things I didn't know, including the digital and many other things that you can get for free by being involved with the library system. So I'll let them tell you all about that in just a moment. And we've had a lot of people ask Jeffrey about tickets. We've been doing tickets to the baseball games, the softball team, all throughout the spring. We now know that the baseball team is hosting the regionals this weekend, so do we have tickets?
Yes, that's the big news. Go to meldonlaw.com. It'll be posted by later today, first thing tomorrow morning. Enter the contest to win tickets for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday. It's a double elimination tournament, so the first team to win 2 games will be in the winner's bracket and may not even have to play on Monday. So
that's right.
The way it works with double elimination is at least 3 days, maybe 4 days. We're going to have tickets for everybody, so for all the games we're going to have tickets. So let us know, and
just go to the website, meldonlaw.com. Just click the banner at the top. And who are the other teams? I know South Alabama's in it.
Yes, we're playing USF, University of South Florida, Friday at 2. At 5 o'clock, Miami, one of our arch rivals.
Started the season.
Yeah. So they're playing Southern Alabama. In the event that the Gators win on Friday and Miami wins on Friday, it'll be an epic battle on Saturday.
Epic battle, you got that right. So hey, good luck to the Gators. We've been following them all year, and again, we say it over and over again. If you haven't been to that stadium, it's absolutely gorgeous. So check it out and go to our website for tickets. One last thing, we are live on Facebook Live. I bet you didn't know that people can type in questions. So if you have a question for Jeffrey or our guests, We've got a great guest in the second half as well. Steve Solomon, legendary, well-known owner of the Leonardo's restaurants in town, will be here for the second half. You can type them in the comments section, and hey, let's get right to it. We've got, first of all, I want to introduce Rachel Cook, who is the manager, a public relations manager, I should say, for Alachua County Library System. And to her immediate left is Maeghan Bonnaghan, who is the Youth Services Director. So two of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So we want to find what's going on at the library, okay? Because
Dive in.
I know the Alachua County has an amazing library system.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at the library, and then we can move over to Maeghan, have her tell us a little bit about what she does, and then we're going to find out more and more about all the amazing resources we have right here at our fingertips.
Sure. So again, my name is Rachel Cook. I work at the downtown library, our headquarters library, and I'm the public relations and marketing manager. So I feel like I have the most fun job in the world. I just get to talk about the library all day long. So.
And how did you get started in doing that?
So I actually wanted to be a librarian when I was a little kid. I would like make Post-it notes and like put staples on them and put them in my books for cards. But then I worked in journalism for a long time, but always loved libraries. So I feel very fortunate to have come to Gainesville for this position.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been there doing the marketing and public relations?
I've been there about 2.5 years.
Wow. Well, that's exciting. And Maeghan, what do you do at the library?
So I'm a youth services librarian. So at headquarters, I provide services to children and teens, run virtual programs right now, and help our patrons.
So there is a summer program that starts today,
Yes.
June 1st, 2021. So tell us about that.
So we're so excited. Today kicks off summer with the library. It starts today and it goes through August 1st. So right now, families, patrons, people of all ages can sign up online at www.aclib.us/summer. So we are very excited. This year's theme is Tales and Tales. And so for a limited time, or as long as supplies last, people can get a free Tales and Tales tote bag with some goodies inside of it. You can sign up again online or go into any library branch and sign up. We have fun programs all summer long, and then families and children and adults can track their reading. And the more you track, the more chances you have to win a Samsung Galaxy tablet at the end of the summer. So, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. So you're trying to engage students in reading over the summer so that they don't like stop learning for 2.5 months and then try to get back in the swing of things, which is not a good thing, right?
Exactly. We call it the summer slide, so that's a regression in learning, particularly around reading and other skills that happens over the summer often. Especially, it's been such a challenging couple school years. We have amazing educators in the community who've been doing a wonderful job. We want to do everything we can to help them and families when the students go back to school be ready. So staying engaged through summer with the library is a wonderful way to do that.
We have a question. How many library locations are there in Alachua County?
That's a great question. So we have 12 library locations all throughout the county. So everywhere from Archer to Micanopy to Alachua to Waldo to Gainesville.
I know you have some huge library buildings. The main one downtown, which is a remarkable building and a lot going on. I've been down there many times, and it's really fun just to kind of meander through it and see what you can find.
Tell us a little bit more about the summer program. I mean, that's, I'm sure, for families with children, like you said, helping them keep the reading, keep that going, avoid that summer slide. What are some of the specific, I guess I heard you're having animal guests, for example. Explain a little bit about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we kicked off our program called Animal Tales today. It is every Tuesday at 11 a.m. over Facebook or Zoom, and we're partnering with different organizations throughout the community. So this morning was our first one with Alachua County Animal Services. We had a cute little cat and a story time. Next week is going to be with Santa Fe Teaching Zoo, and it's going to be with an alligator. Throughout the summer, we have ones partnering with Carson Wildlife and also with the Natural History Museum and some of their cool exhibits. A sloth is currently living there and is going to do a story time with us.
A sloth.
Wow.
A sloth, yes.
Well, that's,
Spirit animal.
you know what, I think it's really cool to create things that will attract the kids and, you know, make them engage, because there's only so much parents can do at home, and bringing students and young kids out into a new environment creates all new opportunities.
And what I picked up on is you said this is being done through Zoom and Facebook Live. Is that the way it's going to be all summer, or will there be some in-person activities?
So that program will be virtual all summer. We're also looking at scheduling outdoor programs, I believe, as well.
Okay.
So people can really look at their individual library branches too in their communities. Some of those will be doing some outdoor programs. The majority of our summer programming is online, but again, the libraries are open, so you can go in.
That's the key thing.
Yeah, families can go in. Librarians are so happy to help you find, you know, the perfect book for everyone in your family, to keep them engaged, to keep them entertained. We've got some great lists that actually Megan has been working on with the school district. So reading recommendations for different age groups. So they can come in, sign up, get a free book while supplies last, along with a tote bag, and then get some ideas of what kind of books they can be reading together.
So so families can come in live inside the all the libraries. The programs you're working with are virtual. Some of them may transition to some outdoor programs
Correct.
later on. So people who've got kids that want to learn this summer, we got something for them.
Yes.
So we were talking actually before we went on the air, and I was blown away when you were telling us about the digital opportunities. You know, you were talking about magazines, newspapers, things that people like Jeffrey and I and others, we can access from our home. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
So we have a wealth of digital materials. All you have to do is have your library card. You can get that by going into any library with your ID and a proof of residency and get your card, you know, just in a couple minutes. We have an app called Libby that you can download, and using your library card, you can access ebooks and e-audiobooks that way. So if you have Audible, you can go ahead and cancel that subscription. Just start listening online. It's totally
Yeah.
free. And
That's incredible.
Yeah, and now on Libby too, we actually have more than 3,000 digital magazines. So, and there's no wait for those. So you can check out all sorts of magazines on so many topics, like really, really niche things, like if you're into quilting for cats. Maybe not quilting for cats, but if you're into cats or you're into quilting, you can find a magazine. So
That's really incredible. And let me ask you this. So is there a fee for a library card? I don't know, because
No.
I haven't gotten one in a long time. I'm going to, though, I promise you that.
oh my gosh, I would have brought you one if I'd known. So it's totally free. It's totally free. There's no fee. You know,
That's
of
great.
course, you know, the library district is funded by the taxpayers of Alachua County. We do our very best job to be really good stewards of that money. And then that way we can make sure that all of our programs, all of our resources, all of our digital collections are totally free for Alachua County residents.
Do you have any legal books in there?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that might solve some of our
We
legal
also-
research costs.
We have great online. We actually have some great e-sources where you can go online. You can do everything from like look up the value of your stocks to look up business forms to look up newspapers. So we have a lot of digital resources you can access from home too.
You know, when I started marketing my law firm over 30 years ago, I went down to the library to get all the phone books, because people used to use phone books to find
Yes.
lawyers.
You still do
So
sometimes.
I would get all the ads from all the different major cities, because your library had phone books
Yes.
from every
That's
city in the
great.
country. And I said, what better place than to go to the
you
Alachua
go.
County Public Library? And I would, you know, we didn't have cell phones that took pictures back then, but somehow I took ideas out of the phone book. So whatever project you're working on, the library probably has some resources you
It's
can
really
use.
amazing. We've got to take a break, and we're going to be right back for another segment with our wonderful friends from the Alachua County Library System, telling all of us things we didn't know. So this is really, I got to say, a great episode. We really appreciate you being here. Again, we want to remind everybody you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, our weekly podcast from Meldon Law. Our primary practice areas include personal injury law, meaning that we represent victims of catastrophic car crashes, truck crashes, bus incidents, trip and fall, slip and fall, pedestrian cases. Whenever a situation arises where someone was injured because of the negligence or carelessness of another, please give us a call anytime, toll-free, statewide, 1-800-373-8000. We also do criminal defense work, including DUI defense. So whatever the question is, though, this guy knows everybody. Call us with whatever your question may be, and we'll do our best to steer you in the right direction. Again, you're watching Meldon Law Friends, episode 32. We will be right back.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Welcome back to today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. Jeffrey, hard to believe we're already just about halfway through this year.
Yes, I think 5 months would be exactly how far we are.
We're close.
And it's really cool. I want to thank everybody who's watching and listening to the show. Today we have these terrific guests explaining to us what's available at the Alachua County Public Library System, and it's really been a eye-opening for me. I didn't realize I can get all these digital books, and just
either.
listen. Whenever I travel, my grandchildren are down in Miami, so I got 5 hours, to drive down there, and I can just be, looking. How many titles do we have?
So we have close to 90,000 last time I checked, but our technical services team is always adding more books, so we
That's
have
incredible.
a lot of books, and we have them for all ages, so teens, children.
We have a question from Facebook Live. Does the library accept book donations?
So unfortunately, we are not right now. In previous times we had been, but we are not able to accept donations right now. We actually are working on a list of other local places that are accepting donations that we will be adding to our services page soon.
Okay, I want to remind everybody, again, if you have a question for either of our guests this segment, we've got Steve Solomon, legendary, iconic figure from Gainesville, started the Leonardo's restaurants. He'll be here second half of the show. Whether for Steve second half or Jeffrey Meldon, type your questions in the comments section and we'll do our best to get to them. Let's talk about Battle of the Books.
Well, Battle of the Books is an amazing teen program we've been hosting for over 10 years. Last year it went digital, of course, and teens across the county compete in a trivia competition. This year it's 3 books. They when they register, actually get a free copy. So they get 3 books and they study them throughout the summer and then compete against each other for the winning branch of our competition.
And what kind of competition is it?
So it's trivia questions. So it's over Zoom. They'll all log in. We'll ask them, I think, 3 rounds of trivia questions, and the winning point winner gets the prize.
Yeah, and we do have to thank RTI Surgical. They helped us out with purchasing the books this year. We really appreciate that company in Alachua purchase the books for us. So we're very excited, and teens can register for that now, get studying, get ready to go so that they can help win that title for their branch.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, well, so we want to make sure everybody gets into the competition. It should be fun. The other thing I wanted to talk with you about that we just heard about this morning is the Wi-Fi to Go program. Tell me about that and how it works.
We're very excited. We launched this new service in April. We know that the digital divide is something that we all think about in this community.
Sure.
Lots of us don't have access to, reliable internet, particularly in the rural areas of the county too. So we launched a program where we have mobile hotspots that anyone with a library card can check out for 7 days. You can connect up to 5 devices to the internet. You don't have to already have internet service at your house, just to be very clear. You can just take it, fired up. I've gotten great feedback that they work really, really well.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the only thing is it's a T-Mobile hotspot, so it has to be somewhere where T-Mobile has service, but it's been very, very exciting. And again, that could be like your laptop, your TV, your gaming system, your iPad, your cell phone.
So it's one of those mobile
Yeah.
little hotspot things, because
Yeah.
I have T-Mobile, and
Yeah.
I know they have those, so
Yeah.
that's neat.
It's just a little hotspot.
We
Well,
have a
that-
question real quick, Jeffrey. Are you associated with the Friends of the Library book sale in downtown Gainesville?
So we are not, the Friends of the Library support the Alachua County Library District, and so we really appreciate the book sale because it helps fund a lot of the great programs we do. But the Friends of the Library run that book sale independent of the Alachua County Library District.
I know we're located right down the street
Yes.
from where they
Oh,
are.
gosh.
And oh my
I
gosh,
see
when
those
they have their
lines.
big
I
sales.
cannot imagine. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a really big deal when there's a book sale going on because you can get amazing books for 50 cents or $1 or whatever. And the idea is to redistribute books that we all love. And let's talk about the change from people reading books. You know, I'm old enough, so we didn't have any options. If you wanted to read, you got a book. The change from reading books to digital, what are some of your perspectives on that, Rachel?
Well, we've definitely seen the increase in our digital checkouts. We've passed the 1 million mark for the first time last year. So we've seen people trending that way. It's different for us as a library because I don't think a lot of people know the way we purchase it is through licensing. So you can have one copy of a print book and you have that till it goes away. With digital books, we actually often have to renew and keep paying for them. So it's an expensive resource, but it's something that people really, really love. And I would imagine that it'll just continue to expand in popularity as time goes on. And I think audiobooks too, like you said, we all like to listen to them in the car or when we're cleaning the house, whatever we're doing. So I think that will continue to be more and more popular too. I don't know if you have anything to add.
I do. I mean, it's given a great access point. I'm the kids' perspective, right? For kids in literacy, my son reads an audiobook at the same time as a regular book, and it really helps him as far as progression. So it's a great access point for our kids.
Now, I have friends that tell me all the time that they get movies down at the library.
Yes.
Talk about that a little.
Yeah, we have a great DVD collection, so you can check out up to 12 DVDs for 2 weeks at a time. So the more popular ones, you might have to put on hold, but we have so many great ones available, especially if you're thinking about a movie from your childhood or a classic film or, what was an award winner a couple seasons ago. We have all of those. And you can go in and just find what's there, or you can put things on hold online. So that's an easy way that you can make sure they're all ready to go right when you get to the library.
Are they do you have to have the DVD, or is there a digital download for the movies?
So our collection is primarily DVDs.
Okay.
But eventually we're going to get streaming where you can figure out some way so people could stream movies.
We hope so, someday maybe.
We have another question. Thank you, everybody, for sending us these questions. We love it. Does the library still do Mommy and Me classes?
So right now we don't have in-person programs at our branches, but we are working towards plans to have some outdoor programs this summer. We continue to watch the public health situation, so it's definitely something we're aspiring to get back to. Our website, our services page, aclib.us/services, is the best place to go to see everything we're gradually adding back. But right now people can come to the library, and for a parent, you could definitely come with your child, find a book, talk to a librarian about what kind of books are great to read to them. And we actually this year launched a program called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, which I know sounds very scary, but we can make it very doable. So you can register for that program and we'll offer you some encouragement and help along the way to reach the goal of reading 1,000 books before your child is in kindergarten.
One of my fondest memories, frankly, is going to a library because librarians are so helpful. And we were talking about that before we went on the air, the fact that all of your staff, all of your librarians are just so eager to help, and that hasn't changed.
No, we have an amazing staff. Megan and everyone else who works with the public is so ready to help, so eager to provide recommendations for everyone in your family, really.
Yeah, I have fond memories of going to the library. Number one, it was a good place for me to study. It was a good place to find books. And not only that, I was interested in meeting really nice girls, and the library was a terrific place.
I somehow knew this
If
was
they're
going
in the
nowhere.
library.
No, people would take a break and they'd walk
Yeah.
outside, high school, college, For me, that was, some of my fondest memories was in and around the library.
One of my fondest, maybe fondest isn't the right word. I sometimes was a not so good guy and not returned my books on time. So I'm sure you've heard all these library fine stories.
Yeah, well, so we're also, another thing we like to brag about is, so we don't actually have fines. We're a
Yay!
fine-free library. So
How about that?
You know, eventually you might get a bill if you keep the book forever and ever and ever, but we don't have fines, which is a great way to, you know, open up access to the library too to people.
Yeah, but you remind people if they're overdue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Okay, come on, Joe, bring the book back. We
Please
got
bring it
other
back.
I
people
was
that want to
notorious,
share
I
it
gotta
and stuff
admit.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but between Blockbuster and the library, they kept my phone going quite a bit. Let's talk about some other things you guys offer. We've talked about the movies, we've talked about digital, we've talked about so many things. Anything else you'd like to tell us about some programs?
So we talked a little bit about e-sources, but I think that's just great to continue to hit on. When you were talking about, you know, when you used to get phone bill, we actually have tools like that now still that people can use. We have one called A to Z database, so people can use that to build a marketing list. You can use it to look up different businesses that you're interested in. Like you could get a list of businesses in some certain zip code or some county. You could get a list of like new movers, people in a certain income bracket. So you could use that to like build your business. We have a Morningstar and Value Line, which you can use to track stocks. And then we have a lot of really great ones for education. Tutor.com offers free tutoring for children. So you can also get help with like math homework, and Learning Express offers similar tools. And then LinkedIn Learning, which is formerly was called lynda.com, that has thousands of free classes. So that's a really popular one for businesses.
What is a way people can, if they didn't get the web page address that you gave us earlier, we'll give it again. What can they Google? They could just Google Alachua County Library, and I'm sure that would take them right to the page.
Yes. Yep. And we're on Facebook too, on social
Okay.
media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So they could look up Alachua County Library that way too.
Okay. We have another question. Man, a lot of activity there, the questions. What is the percentage between reading of paper books, digital books, and listening? And then there's the second part. Are our young people's reading skills improving or declining?
That's a big question. I don't have the breakdown right now as far as our checkouts go. I would say still the majority of our checkouts are our physical materials, so that still remains really popular. But I think digital is slowly creeping up. And when I say digital, I do include listening in there too, so they're kind of lumped together. I think overall, I think for the young people's reading skills, I think overall that children are still interested in reading and it's still so important. What would you say?
I want to go back to access points. The ways that kids can read has just changed drastically.
Sure.
Any kid with a tablet in front of them now can check out 20 ebooks or audiobooks and picture books included. You know, like the world's their oyster.
I would agree. I think the fact that there are more options now to read, whereas in Jeffrey and my day, we had to physically go to the library and pick up a book, and I love doing that too. And there's just so many ways now kids can read. Everybody can read. And that's
Yeah,
got to
there's
be a good
something.
thing.
However, I think people, and young people in particular, are becoming more and more comfortable reading either, you know, on a tablet or you know, their cell phone, or I mean, I'm
Definitely.
reading 6 newspapers a day on my cell phone. Now I have to hook up with you guys to get the free.
I think we need to make
Newsbank, Newsbank, yes.
I think all of our staff, I can just hear it now. We're going to go back, we're going to do our Zoom. He's going to say, guess what, everybody? Everybody's getting a library card.
Yes,
So,
we'd love to hear that.
Anyway, thank you both. I'm sorry this has to come to an end because we could probably go all day on this, and it's been extremely informative. Real quick, what's the website again?
www.aclib.us/summer. So if you want to go online and register, it's open now.
Anything else you want to say real quick? Burning desires, we say.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and get your library card. It's
Oh.
free. It's great.
And the library is open, right? Normal
Yes.
It's
hours.
open. It's
Okay,
open.
and we got 12 library branches around, so no matter where you are, there is a library near you, and that library can give you access to everything that's going on.
You are watching Meldon Law Friends. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2021. We'll be right back with Steve Solomon, well-known guy in Gainesville. He'll be telling you all about it. We'll be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job, I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Welcome back to today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends. My name is Chris Qualman. I'm here with Jeffrey Meldon, founder and president of Meldon Law. Take a look at the website, www.meldonlaw.com, to learn more about the firm. We primarily handle personal injury cases, and we also do... Steve, watching him come in here. This guy's going to be a riot. Trust me, this is going to be a great segment. Boy, totally lost my train of thought. Go to the website. You'll be able to register for tickets. We talked about it the last segment. We have tickets for these upcoming regional baseball games. Jeffrey, I'll tell you what, you've been following the team all season, and it's been an up and down roller coaster season, but I've got good thoughts about the regionals.
I'm so excited. This Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday, there's going to be Gator baseball. Here, Miami's in our regional bracket along with USF and South Alabama, and it's going to be an exciting weekend. It's full attendance, so go get tickets if you can. They're in high demand, but Meldon Law has free tickets. It's going to be really exciting. If you go on meldonlaw.com, on the home page at the top, you'll see a red banner. Enter the contest here within a couple hours. We just got notification that we're going to be getting tickets for our viewers and listeners. So go out and support the Gators. We're going to be rooting for them strong.
Let's get right to our esteemed guest.
Thank you.
I tell the story, and I'll make it very quick. The very first place I ever went in Gainesville, first place, August of 1975. My parents and I pulled up to the Holiday Inn. I was there for freshman orientation. I said, Dad, I want to check out that little pizza by the slice place there. That's the first place I ever ate. And man, I miss it.
Tell you, I hear that story quite a bit. But before we go any further with this, I would like to nail down 2 tickets from Jeffrey for this weekend for the baseball game.
He's not kidding.
Okay,
So
Steve.
now that we
si-
got that taken care of,
Since you're so magnanimous to come on the show, I think we can honor your request. I want to tell you a little bit about Steve Solomon, because he's one of the great restaurateurs that Gainesville has had for almost 50 years. He was a major influence in the restaurant industry in Gainesville, Florida. And let's go back to how you wound up in Gainesville, Steve.
1973, early in 73. I'm living in Chicago. I'm teaching school. I'm thinking about going to law school. I've been teaching since 1969. And I'm wondering, is law school for me? Is teaching for me? And I was driving, and I saw a bush that was burning. And I thought, as a good citizen, I would pull aside, and I would put the flame out at least. And I stopped the car, ran out to the empty lot where the burning bush was, and I was taking my jacket off to smother the flames, and suddenly I heard a voice. And the voice spoke to me and said, "Go to Gainesville, make pizza. By the way, make pan pizza Chicago style."
Chicago style.
I said, "Wow." I looked around. I was amazed. I didn't question it. From that point on, I went to Gainesville. Unfortunately, I went to Gainesville, Georgia first. I got confused. And I ended up in the wrong Gainesville. But by the end of 73, I had found the right Gainesville. And it's been very right for me, and I'm sure it's been right for everybody who's listening in. It's a great community. It was a great opportunity for me to realize my dream, which was to open up a Chicago-style pizza in a pan. It's a totally unique item at that time, and bring it to the different college campuses where I thought there would be a demand. I thought Gainesville, Florida would be a good spot because it was in a rural part of the state, but by the same token had a lot of kids from Miami, so there was an urban push. And pan-style pizza is an urban dish. And it was like Gainesville was going through a transition that certainly Jeffrey was a big part of with his ventures in Rickenbacker's Bar and the Great Southern Music Hall. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite memories of Jeffrey was I had heard about a movie by Jimmy Cliff called The Harder They Come. It was about a reggae singer. And I got in the soundtrack for it, but I couldn't find there was no way to get the movie. There was no net. This is pre-Netflix, so there was no place to get the movie. And I went to Jeffrey and I said, there's this great movie. It's a reggae movie about this guy who's a reggae singer, and he's a dope dealer, and it's a little edgy, so no theaters will carry it, but it would be great if you got it. And sure enough, Jeffrey came through, got the movie, and then that way Jeffrey was bringing urban tastes and urban fare to Gainesville as well.
And if you don't, I don't know if you remember, but after we got the movie so you could see it and presented it at the Great Southern, we actually had Jimmy Cliff live come to the Great Southern Music Hall.
Wow.
So, that was even bigger. So, Steve, I remember that you started out with Leonardo's Pizza by the Slice, right? And how did you find the building that you wanted to start at?
Well, here's what happened. I was walking around on University Avenue under the influence of now legal, then unfortunately illegal. We hadn't made that big move yet. And I walked into a place where it was called International Sandwiches. I thought, an international sandwich, maybe I can get a falafel. So I walked in and I looked around, and it didn't look very appetizing. It looked like a rundown place. And but it was well located. It was across from the Holiday Inn.
Right,
where
University
people came.
and 13th Street.
Chris's parents, the first place they came to when they came to
Yeah.
the University of Florida was to the Holiday Inn. It was the best place to stay, and it was centrally located, and it was accessible to the campus. So the smartest people, like Chris's parents, stayed at the Holiday Inn. And here we were right across the street from the
Right across the
Holiday Inn.
street.
And right across the street from the University of Florida. And the guy that was working there was cutting he was cutting the cold cuts. He was, what the am I doing here? I hate life. I hate sandwiches. If I see another piece of cold cut, I'm going to kill. I said, hold on. I can be your salvation. I'm really interested in opening a pizza place. I think it'd go really well here. What do you think if is the place for sale? And he said, I hadn't thought of that, but it's a good idea. Let's sell the place. So he was a leasee. And I hadn't gone to law school. I had tinkered with the idea of going to law school. So, but I knew he was a leasee and not the owner. So we're going to have to talk with him, and then we're going to have to speak to the owner of the the restaurant, who was in Miami. Went down, spoke with him. He had his misgivings. He explained to us that the man that had been there, Harry Myers, would be some remuneration because of the hard work he had put in and the sweat equity. And he helped us make the deal possible. He was an attorney himself. His name was Erwin Gars. Very nice.
I knew Erwin Gars down in Miami.
Yes.
I did.
So he owned the building, you wound up making a deal, and you opened up
3
Leonardo's.
months later, we opened up Pizza by the Slice.
And is it true that you had the picture of Leonardo da Vinci on the
This is
front
a
of the building?
major case that, and a major bit of Gainesville history. And if you're going to be staying here in Gainesville and you have an interest in, I think you have to become knowledgeable about the case of Gainesville versus Stephen Solomon. And what it was is we had the famous picture by Leonardo da Vinci of the Renaissance man, the man who touches all sides of a circle. I'm sure
The
everybody's seen
Vitruvian
it.
picture, I think it's called, yeah.
Yes,
Vitruvian. Yep.
yes, the Vitruvian picture. But the idea was that a Renaissance man could be a scientist, a chef, a networker, a computer expert. Leonardo's had figured all this stuff out. And it was a picture of a man in a circle. And we did the man in the circle, put Leonardo's overhead, but we added 2 women, one on either side, and they were nude. And Leonardo himself, I'm not sure in the original if they showed Leonardo's tools, but we did. Somehow or another, they approved the sign. It was a mystery to me.
The city of Gainesville?
The city of Gainesville sent out a young inspector, and this guy was, I think, more interested in the pizza than he was in the sign. He signed off on the sign. We had the sign. 2 years go by, nobody said anything. And all of a sudden, I got a letter from the superintendent of building in the city, Al Davis, and he said that your sign has been found to be indecent, immoral, and pornographic.
Uh-oh.
Now, personally, I didn't think it was immoral. I thought perhaps indecent, maybe pornographic, but definitely not immoral.
This guy should do stand-up.
So anyhow, I decided I did not want to just take the sign down like they demanded. They gave me a 15-day
period
that it had to come down. Thank you for supplying the orders. I've been retired for a year, and Jeffrey helps me by finishing my sentences, and the Vitruvian
He's
man.
finished a few bottles of wines at your store, too, but
So,
that's another story.
as I understand it, you got a hold of our
A
good
lawyer
friend.
got a hold of me, Bill Salmon, a brilliant young attorney.
He was young at the time.
Yes, we all were young at the time.
This is 1975?
This is 1976, actually. The sign had actually been up for almost 2 years before someone actually noticed that there was a male genitalia and female breasts. And I may add, everything was ample and right out there to see. Bill contacted me, said that he was teaching a class at the University of Florida, and that it was a First Amendment rights class, and this was the perfect First Amendment right. For you that are not familiar with the First Amendment, I'm sure one of these two brilliant young attorneys could tell you what it's about. My understanding is it gives me the freedom to have an indecent, immoral, and pornographic sign.
And what happened? What did the court rule?
Well, the court ruled against me at first, and national news came down here, and the next court ruled against me, and finally we got to Atlanta and to the Federal Appeals Court.
11th Circuit.
The 11th Circuit.
Back then it was the Fifth Circuit.
Fifth Circuit.
They short-circuited on our case. The judge said, in effect, that immoral, indecent, and pornographic are very hard to discern and very hard to say what is. He said, I can only tell you what I personally like. And with that, we won the case. It was Solomon versus Gainesville. It was like
Still in the
David and
books to this day.
Goliath.
Okay.
And
We will talk more about that. My producer's nudging me from the side. We got to take a break. But man,
All
what a
right.
story. We could just plug this guy in. The Energizer Bunny. Tell you what.
I'm talking out of nervousness.
You are
believe me.
terrific. We love
I'm
it. Keep
only
going.
talking
Keep
'cause
going.
I'm nervous.
Okay.
You are watching Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2021. If you have any questions for our esteemed friend, Steve Solomon, founder of the Leonardo's Restaurants in Gainesville, type them in the comments section on Facebook Live. We'll answer them. He'll answer them. And anything for Jeffrey Meldon, text those questions as well. We'll be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. You need to type your friends, text them a message saying if they're not watching the show, they need to watch it. This is some great Gainesville history we've got going on with our good friend Steve Solomon, founder of the several Leonardo's restaurants as they existed in Gainesville for a long, long time. So, Jeffrey, I know you were quite a common patron of Steve's establishments.
Yes, in particular, some of the later generation of restaurants, because you had Leonardo's by the slice to start, right at University Avenue and 13th Street.
Yes.
And you went to other restaurants after that. Can you tell us a little bit how that evolved?
Well, each time it was something to do with, I was living in Gainesville and I was loving Gainesville, but by the same token, I was missing certain things about life in Chicago. Certainly not my ex-girlfriends. But I was missing the bagel. And the bagel was not being well represented in Gainesville. And more people were coming from the north. And I think they
And
were,
from Miami as well.
from
Who
Miami.
had transplanted from New York.
Yes. And they were going to bagel withdrawal, actually. There was a place called the Community Outreach Center that treated people with these kinds of various kinds of maladies. And I became aware of this, and I felt like what I could do as a citizen is step up and bring the bagel to these people who are going through the bagel deficit and bagel Jones.
And there's a certain secret to making a real bagel, correct?
Sincerely, every bagel is different from every other bagel, sort of like people. But by the same token, there is a special technique to creating a real bagel. And the real bagel is boiled and baked. And it's hand boiled and it's hand sculpted. Then it's boiled. It's genetically coded at that point with either sesame seeds, garlic, and then put in the oven
My
and
favorite's
baked.
the everything, by the way.
The everything, the ET as we call it, the everything, is people are amazed by the economics of it. Mark Rush, a brilliant economist and teacher at the University of Florida, he came in and he wanted to know how we were charging the same price for a plain bagel as an everything bagel. He was concerned that we weren't upcharging by the ingredients. And honestly, we hadn't thought of it. It was one of the great things about being next door to a great institution of learning like the University of Florida.
What was the name of the first bagel restaurant?
The first bagel restaurant was called, and there is a lot of controversy about this,
Isn't there always?
and, like bagel and cream cheese, a bagel and a schmear, bagel and coffee, or is it Bagel Land?
Right.
And actually, people thought we were two different places. They said, well, I'm looking for Bagel and I said, well, you're there. And somebody else would say Bagel Land. I said, well, you're here too. It's the promised land.
Where was it located?
It was located right next to St. Augustine Church. In a very ecumenical movement, we decided to be close to the brothers of their order, of the St. Augustine
I'm trying to keep
order.
track of all the biblical references today.
Father
It's been a lot.
Gannon was
One day, there was a place called the Monk's Inn on University
Yeah,
Avenue,
Monk's
and
Inn.
I'm sure we all remembered. And the Monk's Inn was a wonderful beer and bar restaurant, and it was right across the street from Leonardo's. And they wore a monk's garb,
It did.
and they ordered like 5 dozen bagels every morning, which they'd come and pick up. Well, one day, one of the fellows that actually was a monk from St. Augustine Church came in his monk's garb, and the girl says, yeah, I've got them for you, and gave him 5 dozen bagels. And he said, well, that's a wonderful, wonderful contribution. We'll make sure that it's given to the poor. And it was like the day that the monk's bagel, they had no bagels. But the church, we said, go down to the church and get your bagel there.
Well, and that was a wonderful contribution that you made, and I'm sure that
Always the
they
altruist,
appreciated
Mr. Solomon.
it. So you're doing the bagel. I remember every one of your restaurants as they evolved. Now, there's a very famous restaurant called Leonardo 706, which I think has reference to the address, 706 West University Avenue, okay? Can you tell us the story about how Leonardo 706 got started?
Well, here's the deal. We had been doing pan pizza for 13 years. And for 13 years, we've been successful, but we had been imitated as well. And a lot of people in the pizza business were doing double crust, thick crust, and even pan-style pizzas. So what we realized is we needed to do something a little different. We had tried some pastas and stuff, but I really didn't have the cooking expertise. My wife Sandy and I were in San Francisco, and we were walking on Union Street, and we stopped at a pasta restaurant, and we had some of the pastas, and this nouveau pizza, thin pizza, very thin crusted, and it had items on it like tuna and avocado and hot peppers. And I had never seen a pizza like I've seen tuna on a bagel, and but I never seen tuna on a pizza. And so we came back from San Francisco, and now what I knew I wanted to take pizza and take the unlikely ingredients like tuna and avocado and broccoli and things that heretofore had not been on pizza, and I wanted to fuse them in. But I needed someone. I needed an astrophysicist, a physicist. No, I needed a great chef, and that's when I met Mark Newman.
And Mark had a great background. I think he graduated from Cornell's culinary school.
Cum Delante.
Cum laude.
Whatever, I'll take your word
Anyhow,
for it.
so
Magna cum laude.
Magna cum laude, Mark Newman. So we all know Mark. He's our dear friend, and so that's how you came up and got started.
Well,
with
he
it.
and I went out to California when my wife Sandy held down the fort. We went out to California and we went and we checked out this new kind of California cuisine. We went over to restaurants that were like Wolfgang Puck had just been the biggest well-known restaurateur in Los Angeles at that time, and he had his place Spago's on Sunset Boulevard. Mark and I actually ate there and talked to Wolfgang and got to meet him, and that's where we had a salmon on pizza with a cream fraiche and a sprinkle of dill.
Wow.
And it was
one of those.
remarkable. Nobody had done anything like this. We had a salad that were all these mixed baby greens like frisee and baby arugula and baby spinach leaves, and we had never seen anything. It was the tallest salad. It was so light. And all along in the restaurant we were spotting, there were all these celebrities that were sitting there. Michael Douglas was sitting in one booth. Andre Previn was in a booth. James Woods was there. It was amazing. I mean, the hoi polloi of Hollywood, and that really led me to believe that this menu is what we wanted to do. Mark was just the man to be able to pull it off, and we came back to Gainesville. We closed the restaurant for 3 weeks. We completely retooled it. Leonardo's and 706.
Had you and Sandy started Leonardo's at that point?
Yes. And we retooled it, and we put in this new menu. We called it the Renaissance of Leonardo's. We were bringing it back, and we were doing this California. We called it Cal Ital, or Mediterranean-style cooking. And along the way, I met, my wife and I were out running, and we met a promising young runner by the name of Marty LaCory. He looked like he had that he was going to go somewhere in the running world, that he was going to run somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was the fastest miler in the world, right?
And he had actually set the record for the youngest person to run a 4-minute mile. And Marty was retired, and he was taking guitar lessons, and I said, why don't you come in and play? And what happened is over the course of 20 years that Marty was doing it, he made it into an incredible music program, second only to the Great Southern Music Hall, to be perfectly frank and honest.
You had some great
He set a
names there,
high
yeah.
bar, though.
Hey, Mondays and Thursday nights, I always looked forward
Sure.
to, the music night. You added the second room after a while, which was the perfect setting for the jazz night.
Great acoustics. It was really, and Marty approached being our jazz impresario the same way he approached running, where he put his fully dedicated to getting really talented guest stars. And we had some wonderful, wonderful musicians play. Because of the fact that I am a senior citizen now, I'm having trouble thinking of all their names.
Well, I can tell you, everybody from the University of Florida Music Department would be there all the time.
Yeah.
And Marty incorporated guests, so you didn't have to, it wasn't like one set lineup. There were always...
It was Marty LaCory and friends.
And
Right.
friends,
Exactly
and
right.
just like we have Meldon Law and Friends here,
right.
it was an incorporative deal. Now, so not only did you have the, Monday and Thursday night jazz nights, but you also had these special, incredible dinners that you and Mark
Wine
put together.
tastings.
Tell me how, the wine tasting
We had
night.
wine pairing dinners that were really, we were doing them once a month. And it was like 50 spots, and we sold out pretty quickly. A couple of times we even incorporated some live music. One time we had a cellist played, and anyhow, it was a 5-course meal with 5 different wines. Jeffrey, Chris, they were both patrons of our wine pairing
This man in
dinners.
particular.
There was one we did on my birthday, and Jeffrey was there, and I had billed it as not just a wine tasting, but Steve's birthday, and the bill of fare that night was one of my favorite foods that we did. And Jeffrey came in, and Jeffrey makes great flamboyant entrances. And he came in and he presented me with a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label. And it was a very nice token of friendship, which we immediately popped open. And we celebrated my birthday, and it was a great deal of fun.
So guys, much fun as we're having, it's coming to an end.
We've
got a 1 hour window, and we've only got about 30 seconds left. Much as I'd love to keep going on. Real quick, what's your favorite current pizza in Gainesville? Somebody texted in a question.
It's Satchel's Square. It's down on 4th Avenue in this great little development that's there with Opus Coffees. And it's really a cool
We know it.
thing.
It's in the neighborhood.
And they trained it, did they not?
Satchel worked for us for 10 years. As a matter of fact, I had the honor of wedding him and his wife, Caroline. And I
Guys.
hope they see this.
I hope they do too. Pass the word. This is a great episode. You got to listen to Steve, and we'll have you back. I can assure you of that.
Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure.
You've been
Thank
watching
you.
Meldon Law and Friends.
you.
Go on our website, apply for the tickets. We'll be back next week with episode 33.